Good evening. This is Attorney Margarita Yu and you're watching Partners in Law. For this evening's turyaan na to ang process sa autopsy and other services sa crime laboratory. For this evening, kuyog na ko si Attorney Regal Oliva.
Hi Marge, and tonight murag nindot ang atong discussion tonight because we will be discussing not only on the autopsy side but on the Philippine National Police Crime Laboratory nga mga issues and concerns that may lead to legal concerns also for the benefit of our televiewers.
And for this evening, ang atong guest kay si Police Chief Inspector Benjamin Venancio J. Lara. He did his postgraduate internship and residency training in pediatrics at East Avenue Medical Center in Quezon City, and he was assigned in the Regional Crime Laboratory 7 in Camsoter, Cabahog as Medico-Legal Officer from 2006 and 2009, and na-reassign siya din sa Regional Crime Laboratory Office sa 2013 up to present date. Good evening, Benji.
Good evening.
Hi, Doc Ben. What shall we call you, Doc Ben or Benji? Siguro Doc Ben na lang. We are more comfortable with that one. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
Oh, and thank you very much for your,
So,
accepting our
yung kay na to
invitation.
ang taga-crime lab because
Lagi.
Jude has been here, Superintendent Tagun has been here.
Wow.
No?
Yeah, maybe because also Marge kay daghan po kay concerns nato regarding the crime lab also. Kay that is where the primary evidence really start, 'di ba? When it comes to cases, when it comes to mga vital information in building a strong case in court.
So, siguro na to, kaning procedure sa autopsy, how does it start? Unsa na to pag-avail sa or who can avail the services of autopsy sa crime lab?
Okay. For the autopsy, we have a special law for that, which is PD 856 or the Sanitation Code of the Philippines, And under that law, it states then that an autopsy can be conducted under several circumstances. If there is a request coming from the mayor, from the governor, or from the city or provincial fiscal, if there is a request from any law enforcement body, or from the next of kin of the victim,
Okay.
we can proceed with the autopsy.
So any reason for that matter, Doc, kanang for example when it comes to autopsy, like kung namatay lang sa hospital for natural causes and then nailagi duda gamay nga there is medical malpractice involved, so are you going to conduct autopsy?
Yeah, if there is a request coming from the next of kin, then yes, we can
Amo
conduct
ba?
the autopsy.
So nanay bayad, Doc?
No, ang autopsy, if it's done by the Philippine National Police medico-legal officers, that is free of charge.
Wow, okay. So anytime. Pero
Yes.
Doc, we're talking about you being the lone sum doctor.
No, duha sila.
Ay, duha na din, no? Sa
Yes.
crime laboratory in the Philippine National Police. Duha ra makabuok in Region 7. And then kung daghan kayo mag-request ng autopsy,
Actually, that is really a problem because number one, we are really undermanned. There's only two of us and we cater to the entire Region 7. And of course, there's also the matter of logistics. Logistically, medyo hindi rin tayo ganun ka-complete. So yes, it presents problems for us.
for example, Doc, a family in Negros or in a family in Bohol request for an autopsy, are they going to pay for your fare from Cebu, going to Bohol or going to Negros Oriental?
Well, we ask for a budget pagka ganun, As much as possible talagang dapat they should not be spending for it.
Okay, so the budget will come from the family usually.
The budget for the
No.
we ask for the budget from our office.
Okay.
Yes.
Pero, di ba ang appropriation ng sa opisina ninyo is very limited when it comes to
That is
funding
true.
source. So, unsa man ka nang kung like for example, at this time of the year, like October na karon, and then murag hurot-hurot na inyo ang budget. So, if I am a family from Bohol, is it right or is it just proper nga ako lang sa mo gasto?
If they are willing to spend, then why not?
Okay.
I guess it's okay.
Uh-huh.
But on our part, we are supposed to be the one who will shoulder the expenses.
Okay. So as much as
papunta doon.
possible, there will be no expenses from the family coming.
If the offer comes from them, then maybe we can talk about it.
Okay.
But if there is a budget for it naman sa office namin,
then you will not accept.
no, we will not. We will
Okay.
not.
So that is clear, ha?
Yes.
If the budget comes from the... Pero usually, no? Just to prevent any murag storya-storya, I think the Philippine National Police do not really usually get any remuneration from the payment of autopsy services. So, unsa may atong... okay, let's say, chain of custody kung drugs. Diba? In a crime scene, Doc, unsay buhaton... Okay, this is the funny thing. If we watch CSI nga mga
Mogi
series ba,
usually basis for comparison.
no, mga TV series nga once ganing a dead body, it's very kanang lisod kaayong nobody can touch the dead body. Pero in the Philippines, ingon ana ba ang ato ang
Okay.
Or kinsay allowed to transport the dead body from the scene of the crime?
okay mo daghan makimuhikap ana do.
If there is a crime involving a dead person, no, so the body is supposed to stay in the place until our SOCO operatives have finished processing the entire crime scene.
Alright.
After the crime scene, the go signal to take the body comes from the investigator in case. Let me be clear about how this whole system works, no? The SOCO responds to a crime scene only if we are requested by the investigator on case, by the local police station. For example, here in Cebu City, if there is a shooting incident
Yes.
somewhere in Cebu City, and the Cebu City homicide goes there, and they request for SOCO processing of the crime scene, then that is the only time that we will go there.
Oh, alright.
So we take custody of the crime scene. After the processing of the crime scene, we release custody of the crime scene again to the investigator on case.
Okay. SOCO, Doc, first of all, Mandawi City
Yes.
has its own SOCO group or it's a regional thing?
No. Here in Cebu, no, Cebu is quite unique.
Yes.
There is a Cebu City CSI.
All right.
Okay, that the Cebu City Police can call. Our unit, the SOCO, is regional ang ano namin, ang scope namin,
ninyo.
okay? And then we also have the CSI. So, again, no, we only have 2 teams ng SOCO. Again, we are undermanned. The entire Region 7 crime laboratory is composed only of 48 people. And some of them are in Bohol, some of them are in Negros.
Oh, that's very few.
Okay, so that is why there is a CSI unit that is under the Cebu Provincial Police Office.
Okay.
And sometimes it is they who respond to the crime scene pag sila ang tinawag.
And then ang CSI naman at saka SOCO, are you united as when it comes to findings or will it be overtaken or overruled by one?
Okay. Pag tinawag na ang CSI sa crime scene, then sila na yon. We will not be called there anymore. But
okay, that is clear.
since we have the equipments, we have the specialists. For example, we have the fingerprint specialists. We have the chemists. The medico-legal officer is with the regional crime lab, no? So pagdating na sa processing ng mga fingerprints na latent prints that they left from the crime scene, sinasubmit nila sa amin 'yon. And then we conduct the examination. The cadaver will be examined either by me or my counterpart,
Okay.
doctor.
Doc, let's make this clear. Kung hindi tatawagin ang SOCO by the investigator, the SOCO will never go?
Yes, because that is the
Protocol.
protocol, the operational procedure of the Philippine National
What if the
Police.
mayor of the local government in a case of a shooting incident, sila mas close siya sa SOCO, tawagin niya ang SOCO to come. So, will the SOCO respond without the advice of the investigator who is in charge?
No, it should be the investigator. But I'm sure what will happen in that case would be that the mayor will tell the investigator on case, okay, I want the SOCO to respond. I want you to call the SOCO.
So that's clear. Ha?
Yes.
So dili gid pwedeng kanang murag sila lang mismo mo diretso gid mo to proprio nga mo diretso sa kanang scene of the crime ang SOCO.
I'd like to believe ang ilang ganahan ma-avoid sa nga situation nga ma-spread out ilang resources kay pilar mo 48
Yeah,
48. Dan kung magpataka lag tawag tanan situations itawag sa ilang pasamot sila gagamay and to think napa sila admin nga duties napa sila mga court appearances, diba?
So in one of the local TV stations that we have, I mean national TV stations we have, there's this popular TV show entitled Soko.
Yes.
How does media help alleviate the image of your office?
I think media plays a big role pagdating sa ganun. Number one, particularly because of that show, you know, when we go to provinces, sometimes nga they refer to us as belonging to that station. They think, some people think that the Soko unit is with that TV station,
Wow,
and
okay.
not with the PNP. But you know, it's good also because somehow it educates the people. Number one, the importance of crime scene processing.
Exactly.
Number two, the importance of protecting the crime scene. And number three, it just gives them overall yung education sa kanila that there is such a unit. And just like in any other country, the Philippine National Police is equipped with, and there is a unit that is equipped to conduct proper crime scene investigation.
Wow. All right. So, okay, in a crime scene also, Doc, palagi itong nangyayari. When the family comes in first, murag it's an impulse of one family upon seeing a family member being dead. Iyang kuptan, then iyang kwaon from where it was found.
Mahilabtan yun.
Then iyang ibalhin sa a more comfortable place. And then, okay, how can you determine on how the crime really actually happened? Kay maayo kay ang Soko mo puzzle out,
how
no?
will we know
Mukuha sa jigsaw puzzle.
Nga preserve ba yun or di ang crime scene?
Okay. It really does happen, number one. And that is the reality on the ground, no? But number one, when it comes to crime scene preservation, no, there's this adage, no? The preservation of life always takes precedence over
Okay.
everything else. Kung patay victim, no? And you're not yet sure if the victim is dead or possibly still alive, and there is hope that the victim could be alive. The victim can be taken to a hospital. No problem about that because the preservation of life always takes precedence. However, kung patay na talaga yung victim at na-move, there will be certain evidences that will be left behind. There are what we call trace evidences, no? It's difficult, really. To be honest, it's really very difficult because minsan, and then there are people who they are shocked with all the blood that is there. They tend to clean it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So it's difficult, but we have our procedures in order to determine. And for example, if a cadaver was moved from one location to another during examination, there are also specific findings that may help in determining if the cadaver has already been moved from one place to another.
Oh, okay. How advanced is the Philippines equipment when it comes to investigation on criminal scenes?
Okay. Admittedly, no, we are lagging behind. Okay.
Lagging behind our Asian neighbors? Or
Global
compared,
yun.
let's compare ourselves muna to the ASEAN.
To the ASEAN.
Okay, di naman atong ASEAN integration.
Yes.
How ready are we when it comes to crime investigations compared to ASEAN neighbors?
Possibly with the exception of Singapore, no, we are on equal footing with our other ASEAN Southeast Asian
That
neighbors.
is sad. Okay.
But Singapore, kasi they have one of the best forensic facilities and one of the best forensic team. That is you can match it with the world, not just with Asia.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of the ASEAN, probably with the exception of Singapore, I can say that maybe we are just on equal footing with other countries.
Okay. Doc, let's make this clear, especially among lawyers. Kaya ang among forensic is different from the forensic na layman's term. Kay forensic namo is really debate, no? Pero what is forensic practice in the Philippine National Police?
When you say what is forensic practice, well, forensic
What's
practice.
the scope of the forensic?
Forensic practice
world?
in the Philippine National Police involves the examination of chemicals, drugs, physical identification like even document examination, that is part of forensics. Of course, the autopsy, medico-legal work. And then you have, again, for physical identification, yung mga, those who are buying second-hand vehicles, I'm sure they are aware, nadala nila yung kotse nila sa crime lab for macro-etching.
Okay.
That is also forensic examination. It's basically forensic examination means using equipments or laboratory equipments or using the application of science.
Wow.
Okay, the application
There
of
you go.
science towards for the purposes of investigation.
So it has a very big scope when it comes to the Philippine National
Yes, it is.
Police.
Well, that's very interesting. But before mo continue ta ning interesting na topic, let's take a break.
And now we're back. And so we left out with forensic practice in the Philippine National Police, and now we go to more detailed kuan sa mga
Services.
practice and services in the crime laboratory of the Philippine National Police.
No. As we all know, padong naman mo open inyong bagong building, di ba? Sa
Yes.
RCLO. So, isa ka...
Salamat naman ang nasli bagong building.
Oh, pasalamat sa ta sa province kay
Oh.
gitagan sila og luna dito.
Correct. And Doc, before that, kung naatay i-autopsy di ay Doc, asa na to i-autopsy? Wala man mo'y
Wa man say facility as of now.
Right now, we conduct our autopsies in accredited morgues in Cebu, no?
And what
even in
are those
Manila.
accredited morgues?
Okay, we
Hospital?
No, morgues
Okay.
of
Funeral
funeral
homes.
homes.
Funeral homes.
Yes, so that's
Okay.
where we conduct. Before we conduct an autopsy, we just make sure that the morgue is properly ventilated, well lighted.
Okay.
All the requirements for a proper autopsy to be conducted. But the good news is, as mentioned by Attorney Marge, we have our new building and it's being built now sa Sudlon.